It is an October afternoon, 1914. HMS Undaunted and its convoy of destroyers sailed at a moderate pace of 16 knots, patrolling the calm waters. A lookout aboard HMS Undaunted scans the horizon. Suddenly in the distance, he spots 4 smoke columns approximately 8 miles ahead. Immediately, orders are barked and bells are rung as the British ships began closing the distance. These vessels, German torpedo ships, emerged in a single line abreast. Sailors aboard the Undaunted readied its guns as the Battle of Texel was about to begin. It was late summer 1914. Amidst the backdrop of the German advance through northern Belgium and the subsequent retreat of the Belgian army to the Yser River line after the fall of Antwerp, a small but crucial naval action unfolded. As the Germans pressed forward, seizing strategic ports like Ostend and Zeebrugge, the Belgians found themselves in a precarious position. With only 6 divisions, fatigued from their earlier engagements and lacking heavy artillery, they stood vulnerable along the Yser River and Canal. On the evening of October 15th, a plea was sent to the Royal Navy for naval support to bombard the advancing German forces along the Belgian coast. Concurrently, the Admiralty was already mobilizing resources to bolster defenses, establishing the Dover Patrol under Rear Admiral Horace Hood. This patrol included destroyers, light cruisers, and submarines, providing assistance both to protect Dover and aid the Belgian land forces. As reports streamed in during the night of October 15th regarding large German troop movements towards the Belgian line, French General Joffre reiterated the request for naval intervention to bolster Belgian resistance against the impending German assault. As the British sought to support their beleaguered allies while defending against the German advance along the Belgian coast, the Admiralty began making preparations for a naval force to depart. On the evening of October 16th, the British Admiralty received intelligence suggesting significant German naval activity in the Heligoland Bight, hinting at a possible German intervention to support their land offensive against the Belgian army on the Yser River. Responding swiftly, a naval force from the Harwich Squadron was dispatched to investigate, led by Captain Cecil Fox, aboard the light cruiser HMS Undaunted, accompanied by the destroyers Lance, Lennox, Legion, and Loyal. Meanwhile, British submarine E-8 was positioned between Terschelling and Ameland to monitor German naval movements in the area. By 2 p.m. the following day, HMS Undaunted and her accompanying destroyers reached the Dutch coast east of Brown Ridge and commenced their patrol. Approximately 50 miles southwest of Texel Island, at around 1:30 p.m., the British ship spotted 4 smoke columns about 8 miles ahead. Sailing at roughly 16 knots, they observed the enemy torpedo craft emerging on the horizon, sailing in a single line abreast, approximately 1 mile apart, heading southward. With full speed ahead, they initiated chase and action, swiftly closing the distance. Aboard the German ships, lookouts alerted the crew of advancing hostile vessels. The Germans attempted to flee toward their bases to the northeast, prompting Undaunted to signal a general chase order, allowing each British ship to pursue independently. The British ships closed in on the German vessels, which attempted evasive maneuvers but were gradually overtaken due to the superior speed of the British ships. Undaunted initiated the engagement, opening fire with her 6-inch guns as the range closed to 8,000 yards. Despite German attempts to confuse the British gunners with erratic maneuvers, the British shots began to find their mark. The attempts to dodge the shells caused the Germans to lose ground. After discharging 6 rounds, Undaunted ceased fire, but the pursuit persisted. Despite the high speed and unsteady platform, heavy ammunition was expended. As the destroyers closed in, Undaunted resumed fire with better accuracy at 5,000 yards, prompting the enemy to retaliate. With the primary objective being the swift neutralization of the enemy, each destroyer was directed to engage an adversary, with Undaunted intervening as necessary, while maintaining a safe distance from torpedo range. Lance and Lennox pursued the 2 eastern torpedo boats, the 115 and 119, while Legion and Loyal pursued the 2 western torpedo boats, the 117 and 118. The latter pair passed beneath Undaunted's stern and engaged the 118, initiating fire at a range of 2,500 yards, roughly 2.2 kilometers. The first targeted torpedo boat, 118, swiftly succumbed to the combined barrage from Undaunted, Legion, and Loyal. A lyddite shell from Loyal's forecastle gun struck below its bridge, leaving it obliterated, followed shortly by a 6-inch shell from Undaunted, triggering an explosion near her foremast funnel. Both Legion and Loyal landed effective hits, leading to the German ship sinking at 3:15. The remaining German torpedo boats turned to engage the British ships. The ships managed to advance towards the British, even reaching torpedo range, before Undaunted turned away. Legion and Loyal, meanwhile, had turned around and focused against the advancing torpedo boats. Realizing the futility of attacking Undaunted, 117 and 119 veered away, only to find themselves under relentless fire from Undaunted, Legion, and Loyal. S-117 altered course, exposing its broadside to Legion and Loyal. It became the target of Legion's assault. The German vessel launched 3 torpedoes, 2 of which were evaded as Legion altered course, narrowly missing the bow and stern. The third torpedo, unseen upon launch, passed beneath Legion's center funnel. Through continued gunfire and Maxim fire, the torpedo boat's steering mechanism sustained damage, causing her to circle aimlessly. Constantly pummeled by lyddite shells, S-117's upper deck became a twisted wreck, leading to her eventual sinking at 3:30 p.m. Survivors were rescued after abandoning ship. Lennox, engaging S-115 alongside Lance, demonstrated quicker acceleration upon the order for pursuit. By 2:25 p.m., Lennox commenced ranging with her foremost gun, albeit without significant effect. At 3:10 p.m., 2 lyddite shells from Lennox's foremost gun struck S-115 aft, apparently disabling her steering gear. Subsequently, 115 veered 16 points to port, with the range at approximately 2,500 yards. Recognizing the opportunity, Lance directed Lennox to hasten her efforts and proceeded to join Loyal. At 3:15 p.m., a shell from Lennox detonated under S-115's bridge, completely demolishing it, with the range reduced to 1,200 yards. Expecting the German vessel to surrender, fire was momentarily halted as Lennox closed the distance to 700 yards. However, S-115 persisted in firing, prompting Lennox to recommence the assault until the ship was barely afloat. A rescue boat was dispatched to retrieve the surviving crew members. Upon arrival, the British found just one surviving crew member standing on the propeller guard, signaling distress by waving his shirt. Once the boat reached him, the survivor eagerly boarded. 48 of his comrades did not survive the battle, as fragments of crew members' remains hung over the rail. Loyal engaged torpedo boat 119 at a range of 3,500 yards. Initial shots missed their mark, prompting a halt in fire. However, the vessel continued launching torpedoes. 5 subsequent salvos were fired, unsettling the Germans, as they veered toward Loyal in an attempt to avoid the British destroyer taking proper aim. Subsequently, Lance joined the fray from the other side. The German torpedo boat was stuck between 2 hostile vessels, while from a significant distance HMS Undaunted continued firing its 6-inch shells. Lance contributed 3 rapid shots, at least one hit crippling the torpedo boat. Lance was struck by a torpedo from 119 amidships, failing to detonate. Loyal maintained a steady course, allowing her aftergun to target 119. Despite poor spotting, adjustments were made and hits were achieved. The final German torpedo boat 119 succumbed and sank, marking the end of the battle. Throughout the entire battle, Undaunted continued launching its 6-inch shells against the German torpedo boats from a distance. While one German captain was rescued but later died, another officer and 31 sailors were rescued by British vessels, with 2 additional sailors picked up by a Dutch ship. However, the toll on the German side was severe, with 223 officers and sailors losing their lives. In contrast, British destroyers sustained minimal damage. Legion endured a hit on the waterline, promptly plugged. Loyal incurred superficial damage from 2 4-pounder shells, resulting in 3 casualties. Lance faced multiple Maxim bullet strikes. Lennox and Undaunted emerged unharmed. Precautions were taken against potential submarine threats. Undaunted resumed patrol duties after sinking the last enemy destroyer. In total, the British ships fired nearly 2,000 rounds, with Undaunted launching the bulk of it, expending 900. The loss of the 4 German torpedo boats impacted morale, both among the German authorities and within the German populace. As a result, torpedo boats were withdrawn from offensive patrols and relegated to coastal duties, further constraining the German Navy's operations in the North Sea. In Britain, the Texel action was exploited for propaganda purposes, with the German vessels often being mischaracterized as destroyers to enhance the perceived magnitude of the British victory. There would be many more naval battles to come, all across the globe, as the First World War was far from over. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please leave a like, it really helps out the channel. If there is a topic, battle, or person you would like to know more about, let me know your thoughts in a comment. I would also like to thank all my patrons and channel members for their generous support. If you enjoy House of History and you want to support my work, consider joining me on Patreon. For just $1 per month, you will already gain early access to all my videos without any in-video advertisements. Don't forget to subscribe. See you next time.